Hi, everyone. Good morning, and a great morning to everyone. And welcome here. Before we start, well, let me introduce myself. My name is Kristoff Contreras, aka the Groovy Host. And well, I'm a professional host and voiceover artist, at the same time, a trainer and an instructional designer. And I am really happy and excited to be your host in today's live webinar. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to another live webinar series of ESME.ph. ESME.ph is as an e-learning marketing for professional marketplace. Sorry, an e-learning marketplace for professional Filipinos where you can build relevant and in-demand skills. So please, for those who are watching, please don't forget to like our Facebook page at ESME Philippines and visit our website www.esme.ph. And you can also for those who are watching via the Facebook or YouTube and LinkedIn, please feel free to share this video to your friends, to your family, or to other people whom you think will be interested in our topic today. And this live webinar is brought to you by, of course, SB Philippines in partnership with a ASEAN youth organization, an ASEAN approved nonprofit organization that spreads awareness of ASEAN to over 200 million young people in Southeast Asia. Also, this is in partnership with the Rotary Club of Alabang Madrigal Business Park. And of course, also in partnership with Artletics, an artist led nonprofit organization that empowers young artists to transform communities through art education. Wow. So I think by the things that I've just mentioned, sa mga partners natin in today's live webinar, we have a bit of an idea what our topic will be. So, so our topic today is all about art, culture, and youth empowerment. So we will have a very special guest today. This will be a talk by Sir Manny Garibay. We will get to know him more later. So we are going to discuss the youth and the experiences of Sir Manny and how art can affect the culture of a community. So mas matututunan natin yan. And to those who are watching, yes, we invite you to to interact with us through our comment section. If you have questions, if you have comments sa mga pag-uusapan natin later, feel free to go to our comment section. All right, so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't take much of your time, and I know you are all excited to meet our special guest today. So let me just give a brief background about our guest. So he is a prolific and internationally established painter who is known for his expressionist figurative style that expresses keen social and political consciousness in his works. All right, and he has a degree in sociology and fine arts. So again, those two, sociology and fine arts from the University of the Philippines. Wow, dun pa lang, no? And he also has a master in divinity from Union Theological Seminary in Cavite. Or his work as an organizer is often overlooked, but is passionate about it ever since he was a student. He has headed various art and cultural organizations ever since. And at present, he's currently the chairman of Artletics, a non-stock, non-profit organization that empowers youth artists to transform communities through art education. He also believes that art can be an effective medium for awakening consciousness, which can improve people to bring about empowered change. Wow. So uh, that's just a brief background, but we'll get to know more about our special guest today. So before we officially meet our guest today, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to ask you to watch this short clip about Linangan Art Residency and Mr. Manny Garibay. So please watch this.
Good morning. Ang Linangan Art Residency ay residency program ng Artletics. Ang objective niya, makapag-produce ng artists, leaders, cultural workers among others. So normally it's a 3-month residency program, pag-develop ng skills at saka conceptual capacity ng artist. So, madiin dito yung pagturo ng mga techniques, mostly advanced techniques in painting. At meron din ditong mga pag-re-repaso ng ilang mga basic topics on theory and art history. Pagkatapos ng 3 buwan na residency ng mga artists dito, ang magkakaroon siyempre ng isang exhibition ng kanilang mga trabaho na kung saan mapapakita kung kanilang qualitative improvements as artists. Pero liban pa doon, yung residency program ay we designed this to be holistic, no? Na kung saan ibigyan tingin din yung wellness, no? Ng mga bawat artist. Merong araw-araw na exercises, merong pagbababa sa ilog para magkaroon ng sense of oneness with nature, at saka nagkakaroon din ng nakaka-develop din ng yung concern for environmental issues. But on top of that, what we really give emphasis on is their art making process should be more and more focused on yung pag-connect sa bigger public. Binibigyan natin din dito na yung artist, mas conscious siya na yung art niya ay nagkakaroon ng connection sa mas nakararami sa ating lipunan. Some of our previous residents are past winners of the Metro Bank painting contest. No? So medyo high caliber mga residents. But that is not the only basis why we select them. A major criteria is also character. No? Mahalagang yung applicant will have that willingness to comply with the disciplines and the system that we enforce in this place. Our program aspires to accomplish more by also focusing on the development of the character of each artist. So, bahagi ng mag-develop dito, we try to be very holistic, no? Yun na nga, we instill discipline among the artists. We enforce a system where they go early to bed, they get up early in the morning, they help in all the housework, no? Linis, luto, gardening, and then there's also the usual morning exercises. And then we also have games actually, no? So parang in the games, parang medyo ini-encourage a spirit of both sportsmanship, camaraderie, and competitive exercises. So parang in the end, it's a very complete experience, I would say, no? Kasi yung the artist is not just conscious of honing their skills, but they're also conscious of striving for their best abilities in whatever they do. Yung ganon, no? And I think that's very important dahil it develops a lot of maturity on the part of the artist. Also the acceptance of, kunyari, if you fall short of an objective, of a goal, the acceptance of taking it without any bitterness, no? Yung ganon. So parang that's part of the maturity na dine-develop din dito. I guess in the end, we're offering not just art lessons, but what you would call life lessons as well. No?
And ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our guest today, Mr. Emmanuel, Manny Garibay. Hi, Sir Manny. Good morning.
Thank you for having me. Mm.
No, thank you,
Mhm.
sir, for spending time with us this morning. And I know you are very much excited to share your passion, of course, about art. And grabe, yung video, sir, no, dun pa lang na may mga natutunan na agad kami. And I know you're very excited, sir. First, before we talk about your passion, could you send a greeting to our viewers today?
Yeah. Maraming. Should I speak in English or?
Okay lang, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Kahit ano po.
Well, I'd like to greet everyone tuned in today and I'm happy for and grateful for you to be tuning in. I hope you stay on until the end of this program. So, um, and I hope that this occasion can really provide substantial understanding about the things which I feel is vital, especially for the youth today.
Yes, sir. I'm sure they are very much excited to hear more about what we are going to talk about today. So, ladies and gentlemen, no, yes, please stick around. This will just for about an hour with Sir Manny, and I know pupunuin tayo ng lessons dito sa pag-uusapan natin yan. And again, please don't forget to like this page, and of course share this to your friends or family members whom you think would love to see this, and who would like to learn more about art and culture, and of course youth empowerment. And this is what is all about. So, Sir Manny, we want to
Mhm.
know more about you first bago tayo tumungo dun sa passion natin. So can you give us or tell us more about yourself, about probably, I don't know, your youth, and your experiences, sir?
Siguro to begin with, I think the most significant part of my growing years was during the Marcos era. Unfortunately, there's only one slide that I can show you from that period. Do you have it there now? Okay. Is it? Yeah. Yeah, that one, no? So it's kind of obscure, but I'm that guy on the extreme right of the screen waving a flag. Okay, so this would give you a very good idea of what was what it was like at the time. No? We were activists, and as activists, I was one of the artists who participated in creating large-scale murals, like the
Mm.
one you see in the background right now. No? So this is actually inside the campus of UP Diliman, where a major event was held, and the mural on the background was the main image that was used for the occasion. But we did several other murals during our time, and sometimes like we were given just a day or two to create huge murals, usually used for protest rallies. So that was my background. I was like a youth activist. I moved from different sectors. I started with organizing students, and then I organized farmers, and then I went to the cultural sector, and then eventually I moved to the religious sector. So I'd say it was a very varied and colorful, history for me. And looking back, I can say it taught me a lot, and out of those experiences, I'm able to understand deeper many aspects of our society and the many responses that people do in different situations. Like in this case, there was the struggle against the dictatorship during the Marcos era.
I see.
Mhm.
This is very colorful, sir. No? Just like art. No? So you've been into different kinds of groups or sections or sectors in our
Yeah.
society.
Mhm.
And do you think that helped you more in shaping you as an artist, as a painter? Yung iba-ibang
I
nasasamahan mo, sir? Did
I
that influence you?
definitely, definitely. I think it's a very rich foundation for someone trying to figure out what life is, no?
Mhm.
Especially like in a Philippine context that is so beset by so many things that enrich the texture and character of our culture. But at the same time, these factors also contribute to kind of blurring, the blurring of our cultural consciousness. No? So there's like it's really hard to define what you would say Filipino culture.
Yeah.
So it's a mix of all those things, and I don't know. I mean, to talk about that extensively, we need to have plenty of time, and this might not be the right moment for it.
Right, sir. So of course, and I'm sure we would love to have you back here to talk more about that. So, sir,
Mm.
I know it's a very colorful topic to talk about. Now, how do you think these experiences that you have from different sectors form your beliefs and your advocacy now with what you're currently doing? How did that help
Mhm.
you form your beliefs?
Well, it was a long journey, no?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I uh, I grew up in a fairly liberal atmosphere where my father encourages us to discuss everything under the sun. No?
Mm-hmm.
We had a healthy discursive, atmosphere in the family, and as a result, we were always talking about issues. We were always talking about matters we consider vital to life, and it does not include exclude anything. Like especially faith and religion was a major topic. And if you analyze Philippine society, a major motivation among people has a lot to do with religion or faith.
Yep.
And a deeper understanding of that would help a lot, in figuring out the many facets of the Philippine situation. So it's I have to talk about it in a very general way for now. No? So
Yep.
it's kind of, I mean, you can ask more questions, you go to help me define any specific areas.
Right,
Hmm.
sir. That's right. Yes, and we
Hmm.
are, of course, we'll have more about that later. And to our viewers, yes,
Hmm.
if you have questions to Sir Manny as we go along our conversation today, feel free to comment on the comment section. And yeah, don't worry. For those who are watching right
Hmm.
now, you could also get digital certificates at the end of our webinar. Just go to our link, the www.esme.ph. You can see that at the comment section as well. So yes, sir, ayan, may pinapakita
Hmm.
tayong slides. I believe these are
Oh yeah, yeah.
works
Hmm. Hmm.
from your group, right? Um,
No,
so,
they're
sir,
not.
okay. So these are
Yes,
inspiration.
these are well, these are actually prehistoric paintings. No, these
Mm-hmm.
are paintings on the walls of caves somewhere in France. No,
Ooh.
and this is how I can probably, in a very long and extended way, discuss the many ways by which art um affect culture. No?
Mm-hmm.
So we start with how it was, how it started. But it's not going to be a lecture on art history. This is just like to
So more of
kind
the
of give an
evolution.
appreciation of how art shifted its allegiances from different masters, so to say. No? So
Sure, sure.
first,
So, yeah.
during prehistory, uh, we were uh, painting animals, and I suppose if you look at them, uh, they're usually big and very accurate in terms of its depiction of the anatomy of the animals you see. It's mostly bison, no? And these are the animals that they hunt, and these are the uh, where they get their sustenance, their life from. So it's so vital to them that they started painting them, and for whatever reason, whether they want to be in control of these animals or whether they're kind of eventually become integral in their worship system. It's not very clear, but the point is, it's something that's so important to them that they started doing paintings of them.
Mm.
Next slide, please. Insunod. Oh yeah. So from that point, no, go back to the first one, yung una, yan. So from cave paintings, this is a long jump to the Roman Empire. No, the height of the Roman Empire. You have people like Julius Caesar, and I think in this case, this could be Octavian. But the case is uh, the rulers of the empires have begun to realize how useful the arts can be in terms of projecting an idea. And in this case, it is an idea that an emperor has appropriated some kind of divinity unto himself. So parang he's projecting himself as a god, and it is a way of sanctifying the rule of the empire, especially over the invaded or conquered lands. You know, so and the image of an emperor is further multiplied in the coins. No, so the coins circulate within the empire, and it has the face or the profile of the emperor in it. Uh, so and that coin has a lot of value. So you make the association between the emperor and the value of an object. So parang it's not just divine, it's also very useful economically. Yung ganon. So if you notice, like earlier, art was serving some kind of religious function,
Hmm.
but more for animistic reasons. In this case, there is now the evolution of the belief system into something that is more institutionally religious.
Hmm. Right.
Can we move to the next slide, please? Here we go. So this would be some typical church you find in many places throughout Europe. And this is a fine example of a Baroque art, no, Baroque.
Hmm.
If you notice, you can hardly see the demarcations, you can hardly distinguish architecture from sculpture to painting. It's the fusion of the three disciplines, and the whole idea is basically to give the experience to those who would enter this structure, these buildings, these churches, as if one enters or sees what it's like to be in the other world, or in other
Yeah.
words, in heaven. No?
Yes.
And so, like, why do we have this style of painting? No? Again, you have to situate it in its historical context. No, so Baroque art was well, it came out basically as a counter movement to what was emerging as the spread of Protestantism in Europe. Yeah. So from the Council of Trent, well, the church leaders of the Roman Catholic Church decided to counter or stop or prevent the spread of Protestantism through the arts. And this is how they dealt with it. They decided to make the churches um more embellished with images that appropriate a feeling of being in the other world.
Right.
So pretty much in contrast to the generally what you would say iconoclastic attitude within the Protestant churches, which is in most cases very bare. No? So and again, this is a case where you can see how effective the arts uh, is in providing a concrete experience for an idea, and therefore establishing a worldview. You know,
Right. So
so
we're connecting the physical to the spiritual side. Is that
no,
uh,
not only that. It's about the idea. It's about the idea. Like it's only like in this case, the leaders of the Roman Catholic Church were
mhm.
saying that it's only through the Roman Catholic Church that one can attain salvation and
Mhm.
access to like heaven or the afterlife, something like that. So that was the idea. But how do you provide a concrete experience for that idea? And the best way to do it was through art,
Right.
and yeah.
So that explains it, no?
So
Yung mga chapels, yung mga churches, sir, right? That
yes,
have
exactly. Yep,
lots
yep.
of arts and figures.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I see. I
mm-hmm,
see. Okay, sir.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Please proceed. Yeah.
So yeah, this was very effective actually, no? So parang this is one approach. Okay. Can we move to the next slide? Now, yeah. Let me tell you a little bit about this guy. He's Napoleon Bonaparte. So many of you should be very familiar with who Napoleon Bonaparte is. But the real significance of this guy or Napoleon is first he was largely instrumental in the eventual shift of Europe from kingdoms into democracies. Although it's not as simple as that, no.
Mm-hmm.
But for somebody, Napoleon happens to come from an island called Corsica, an island near, which is actually closer to Italy than to France, but was or still part of France. And so the people from this island tend to be looked down on by the French, because like especially for Napoleon, not only is he from Corsica, he's also short, But eventually, out of that obscurity, he rose from the ranks and became a general and eventually an emperor of
Pero,
France. And this was very threatening to the kingdoms all over Europe, as like a commoner, a nobody, eventually rising in the ranks, and then giving the idea that they should the people should oust the kings, and to be taken over by elected officials. But
mhm.
of course, in the case of Napoleon, he went a little farther, except that, I mean, he eventually became a tyrant himself, and as he as he was able to conquer more nations, he crowned himself emperor. And I think it's a very dramatic scene to narrate how he did it. Like as he was being crowned emperor, instead of letting the Pope place it on his head, he took the crown from the hand of the Pope and placed it on his head. And that was a very strong statement.
Wow. Yes.
He's like saying the church is not above him. Yeah. So, and this is also a significant shift. So the art is now shifting its loyalty away from the church and has now shifted to the power of the state. So this is like the start of the power of the state. No, so the church has grown very very weak by this time, and it is now a new set of rulers that are taking over.
Right.
Yeah. Let's have the next slide, please. So, eto, no? So, this is the French Revolution that eventually brought down the monarchy, no? And of course, the motto of or the slogan of the French Revolution was égalité, fraternité, and liberté, no? And that was very attractive to the masses in Europe. And again, like I said, which was also very scary on the part of the ruling elite. The monarchs or the kings. Yeah. So unfortunately for Bonaparte, but that's another story. Napoleon Bonaparte kind of got so attracted to the trappings of luxury and power that the idea of egalite kind of faded away in the scene. Yeah, like I said, that's another story. Let's move on to the next slide, please. Now here, just to emphasize the idea of how rulers appropriate a sense of divinity onto them. No, so you can see one image is that of the Santo Niño, and then on the other hand, the image of Queen Elizabeth I. So if you notice, there's a very strong resemblance,
Yep.
and yeah, just to emphasize the point that monarchs wanted to appropriate a kind of divinity unto themselves in order to perpetuate themselves in power and to fortify and perpetuate themselves in power. Sige, so let's have the next one. Okay, I wonder if you can see the difference in these two pictures.
Sort of the I don't know, the statues, and of course in the middle.
Yeah, well, that's not so significant.
And yeah, the structure, sir. I can see the one on the right. Meron siyang I don't know, yung I can't explain yung parang meron siyang mga point, may mga point na you normally see
Yes.
that in castles and in kingdoms.
Yeah, but if you take a closer look, those pointy things are actually saints, no? Because the one on the right, that's the Vatican. No? So if you go to the Vatican, the upper part of the structures is lined with supposedly sacred personage. And while the one on the left is actually the one that I'm pointing out this time, it's actually the Capitol building of the United States. So it's if you notice, the architecture is very similar. So what is the United States government trying to project here?
Oh, interesting.
Diba?
Yeah.
So why does it try to invoke the same kind of projection that projection of image as the one in Vatican.
Right, right.
So here you can get an idea that the state or the federal government of the United States is kind of projecting a some kind of sacredness about it, no?
Mm-hmm.
In the same way that you're supposed to see the Vatican. See, so and the people behind this, they're very clever. You know, like they know a certain style of structure, a certain form, a certain image would, in our association, have that kind of effect visually, and in a very subtle but insidious way, it affects the way we look at what that image represents. So in this case, the United States government is the most sacred entity in in the whole of the U.S. You know,
Yeah.
like everyone knows that. Like if you're an American citizen, you can break the state laws, but you can never go against the federal laws. You know, so it's the most sacred entity in the land. No,
Right. So parang ano
so
to, sir, no? So we're like, is it more of like symbolizing power, or more of like symbolizing divinity, like yung kanina with the image of Queen Elizabeth the first, na parang with the resemblance of Santo Niño, to
mhm.
show divinity of their power. So is it more of the power or more of the divinity now dun sa pinapakita ng the Capitol?
It's actually more of the use of divinity in order to fortify one's position and power. So
Okay.
parang divinity, the idea of divinity or sacredness is more of an instrument. So it's not what you're really after. What you're really after is to secure your position in power. You
That
see?
makes sense. Yes, sir.
So yeah, and that's and again, this again tells us how powerful the art is as an instrument in projecting that idea, that idea. So it sinks so deep in our consciousness that it's virtually embedded in our DNA already. You know,
Mhm. I agree,
so
sir.
yeah. Uh,
And the
let's
message
have the next.
it's sending, no? Yes, sir. So the
Mm-hmm.
message it's
Yes,
sending, no,
yes.
through art, grabe, it's very
Mm-hmm.
powerful just by looking at it.
Yes.
Thank you for
Mm-hmm.
explaining that. And yes,
And
we can.
we don't even, we're not even aware. You know, that it's so much deeply embedded in our consciousness that our response to images becomes automatic. You know, so
Yeah,
suddenly we feel kind of immediately we feel like we are a subject to that image that we see. That we suddenly feel a need to act some kind of uh, uh, subservience to it. You know. Hmm.
right, right.
So, sige, let's head up next one.
No, this is very simple,
So,
but I know there's a message behind it. Sige, sir.
and this is done by a very famous artist. No, the artist is Andy Warhol, and probably the most important artist in the modern era in the arts. Uh, so, as I was saying earlier, no, art is more of an instrument. By this time, you know, like the idea that art is really more of an instrument by those who are in power. And in this case, the power has shifted actually away from the state and more towards the big corporations. I'm not talking about, you know, a sari-sari store or mega mall level of big corporations. We're talking about very, very few individuals
Mhm.
who virtually run the world, you know. And it thrives on a system where profit becomes the most important thing, you know. So like if you put it in a say theological perspective, initially there was God, and
Yes.
then there was the church, who in a way of speaking pretty much instrumentalize the idea of God in order to uh, control power and have power over people. And then that power eventually shifted to the state, and again, using art in order to project its power over the people. But this time, this is far more subtle. So, and the mantra of a new economic system that has emerged eventually is that greed is actually good, you know. So it's very interesting how it has turned to be that way, you know, that greed is actually good. So if you go back when they say God is good, and then eventually if you pa- kind of bring it to this present day context, when you say greed is good, then God is greed. You know, so it's that kind of simple analogy. It may be too simplistic, but it has a degree of truth to it, that greed has become the main driving force of most societies right now. And the main idea is to just get ahead and gratify our baser nature, you know, meaning gratify our appetite, gratify our egos, you know, our vanity, and that has become foremost in our minds. So, and this guy, this artist, this particular artist, was very much instrumental in celebrating that. So let's have the next image, please. So what used to be people representing virtue, moral, ethical, righteousness, we have now celebrities, we have
Yeah.
now consumer goods, and even things like a banana. This is the new iconography right now. So, and especially when it comes to the real people, celebrities are not known for their being virtuous or righteous. They're not known for being morally upright.
That's
On
right.
the contrary, yeah, they're known for excessive and lavish lifestyles, and they have
That's right.
become the models. They have become the measures by which we want to copy. We want to be like these people, and this is how it has affected our minds very, very. What's this insidious in a way, because it operates on that level.
So parang sila sir yung
Let's
what
have
we
next.
consider that we could consider them as what we know now as influencers, no? Kasi
Yes, exactly.
we look at these
Right, right.
figures and their
That would be
images.
the new language now, tama.
Right.
Yeah,
So we wanna be like them. We wanna because we see their
exactly.
lifestyle and we
Hmm.
envy them. So
Hmm. Yes.
we strive to be like them.
Hmm.
Right.
Envy is actually a very appropriate word for that. Uh,
Right. So
so yeah.
dati pa lang pala sa art pa lang na-express na to and it
Oh yeah,
continues
yeah.
in our history
Hmm.
now.
Hmm. Yep.
Wow.
Sige.
Wow.
Hmm.
Thank you, sir. That's an eye opener for us.
uh, let's get to the next one.
All right.
So this guy, many of us may not know very much who this guy is. Um, his name is Edward Bernays, and there's a BBC documentary as to what he has done in the field of advertising. It used to be called public relations, and and what he has done, among others, is to consciously control the minds of the masses in order to control their attitude, their mindset about certain things. No?
Hmm.
And so let's have some of these next slides. Yeah, like this one, no? Smoking used to be identified with the among the marginal people in society. I mean, among the women back then, and then eventually, somehow through manipulation, it was um, it was made to project some kind of sophistication, some kind of independence for women. No,
Mm-hmm.
so and at some point it was even packaged as good for the health. No? And then eventually, when it was realized that not many men were smoking, they also came up with another strategy in order to attract more male smokers. No? So, and this is how the Marlboro Man came along. Um, it
Mm.
used to be associated with women lang dahil it's a cigarette, and men used to smoke cigars, but cigars were too expensive. So in order to have a much bigger market, they came up with advertisements where smoking cigarettes was equated with manliness. No, so and that's how it operates. No, and it's very clever. It's very scheming, but it's not actually good for us. You
Yeah.
see, what has happened is the many of the big corporations uh, actually come up with products that are more harmful to us, and yet we consume them in large amounts. You know?
Because they're packaged in a good way as if
And
it has a good effect.
exactly, exactly. So in the end, it's not making us better persons. We ended up more miserable. We end up less healthy, uh, and yet we keep consuming them because part of the properties of such products is they have addictive components in them. So once you're hooked, you just keep consuming them because it's already part of your system,
Right.
not just physically but also mentally.
Galing, sir, no?
So
Subliminal,
what's the
but it
next
has an
one?
effect, no? It's
Oh
very
yeah,
sub-
yeah, yeah, yeah. Very very subliminal. Kaya nga incidentally, just to give you an idea who Edward Bernays is, he's the nephew of Sigmund Freud. And if you don't
Okay.
know who Sigmund Freud is, he's the acknowledged pioneer of
Psychology.
psychoanalysis. And his daughter, what's the name of her daughter? His daughter, Sarah, Anna Freud, was actually working in some levels of partnership with Edward Bernays, but Anna Freud was more into social control and controlling masses in terms of ideologies. But
Mm.
then that's another matter, no? Mm.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
let's have the next one.
okay.
So to sum up things, no, just to give you an idea of where art has kind of aligned itself through our history. First, we were animists, therefore, art was in service for the different expressions of how we understand our world. So, like, we see the sacredness in many forms in nature, in animals, in trees. No, and then eventually, what used to be a primitive form of faith has evolved into something that is very institutionalized, systematic, and has eventually become an empire, you know. So the church has become so powerful at some point. It was the one deciding on the affairs of humanity at the time, and
Mhm.
art was again very much useful for that. Uh, and then eventually the shift went to the state, no? And then to the big businesses. And then there were also, let me point this out, there were occasions where artists exercised their autonomy uh, outside the control of these powerful entities. There were occasions where artists asserted their independent, creative, and imaginative spirits. So, and these were mostly during the modern art period, no? When there was much less control and intervention from the powerful. And of course, needless to say, most of these artists were the ones kind of outside of the sphere of the market. So nobody were, no, at least at the time, nobody was buying their works. Uh, So and it's a like a recurring pattern. Initially, nobody buys your works, but so influential that people start noticing it, and then eventually someone good would get interested and starts buying your work. Then it goes up in the millions and all that. So eventually, in other words, it still gets subsumed by the powerful market. So that's
Right.
the pattern.
So from passion and your beliefs and values that you have in making
Mhm,
those art form,
mhm,
it has become, of course, part of the economy now, economic
mhm. Yeah,
standpoint, where people start buying it and you start working because people are buying it again, right? So
yeah. Well, that's the part where you kind of become ambivalent about it. You know, like on one hand, you're happy that you're making a living
yeah,
out of art because you're selling, and then you're able to provide for your family, for your needs, and sometimes more than enough. So you get stuff that's kind of beyond your needs. You know,
yep,
luxury items, things like that. But on the other hand, you also feel how detached it has become from the people who really matter, you know. So I think the sad part with how the state of the arts right now is basically it's being determined by two entities. One is the art market, and
mm-hmm.
then the other one is the institutions. By institutions, we're referring to museums, major art events, uh, and but in both cases, these two are very pretty much detached from ma- the majority of the people.
Right,
So, like, how does your art connect with, say, a, a taxi driver, you know, a carpenter, a janitor? Uh, these people, they make up the vast majority of the population. Like if you're talking about the Philippines, say it has a population of like somewhere around 110 million
mm-hmm.
people. And then if you look at the art market, there's probably about less than 1,000 individuals who actually collect. So if you put that in contrast to the total population, that's a very, very tiny fraction of the whole population. And and this contrast should bother us in the sense that so how is art still relevant to people's lives if the case is like it's just connecting with a very very small segment of the population, and in many instances, these people they don't really regard art seriously. They have reduced art into currencies.
Yeah.
Like they buy art for speculative reasons because the value of your art rises much more quickly than if they bought real estate. So a piece of land would have a longer time to appreciate in comparison to a piece of painting. you know so and many of the collectors have gotten wise to it, and I guess to some extent there are manipulations that's going on as to the value and prices of the artist, in addition to that. Yeah. Well, anyway,
So that's
yeah,
the
we
happy and sad
again.
part of art, right, sir? No, grabe. We are learning so much from it. Before I move on to my next question, because you've already discussed how art, based on the slides that you have shown us, you have discussed how art shaped our culture and the values of the people. What do we really have to revere, and what do we follow? Also, I would just like to acknowledge the people who are following us right now. So they're watching. So Miss Sir, yeah, just Tony Momo, thank you for watching. And someone who recognized earlier one of their questions, the capital versus dun sa image ng one of the churches, si Miss Desirna Catrix Eduardo. She said it's the architecture, the similarities. So good catch, and thank you for watching. And to all our viewers, again, if you have questions, feel free to put down your questions on our comment section. Now, sir,
Mhm.
Sir Manny, we mentioned how art shapes the culture. Now, we are in the, I guess we now have the new generation of we have the youth. And how do you think the youth now can contribute, or let's say a youth artist can
Mhm.
contribute to our community? So what do you think their role now as an artist?
Mhm. Yeah. I think it's become more difficult for them to deal with that question. But maybe we can start by reminding them in history that the major movers of history were young people. Like the image that keeps flashing on the screen, that's supposed to be Alexander the Great. So let's have that one. No? And the reason he's called the Great because he became such a major mover in history by conquering all the known parts of the world during his time within a very very short span of time. And unfortunately, he died very young. But then it also attests to his extraordinary ability as a military leader, and also not only as a military leader, but also one who is out to spread a new idea throughout the world. And he has this desire to unify the world on the basis of shared cultures and beliefs. So
Right,
yeah, so can we get the slides moving, please?
right.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
that.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not really good with history, Sir Manny. Well, you can notice that. But if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken, so Alexander the Great had influenced not only when it comes to the political people, but also religious sector, because I think he has merged those two kind of two
Yes.
groups.
Yeah, you can say that he was largely instrumental in spreading what you would call the classical culture. And when you say classical, that's referring basically to Greek.
Mhm.
And eventually, it also includes now the Roman culture. No? But so it's easy to talk about people in the past, no? Because there are already volumes of books written about them.
Yep.
But the girl that you're looking at right now is very much around, no? And she was much younger when she started a movement to raise awareness for the environmental problems that we are confronting right now. No? So this is Greta Thunberg. and I think she should be familiar to most of us because of what she stands for. So imagine like a girl being able to generate so much attention on the issue in spite of her youth, you know. I think that's a major accomplishment. So I think there's a tendency for many young people to think of themselves as they don't really matter that much, or kind of what can one individual do, and this is one person who's showing us the way and telling us that anyone can make a difference if anyone has a strong belief in what they stand for. So again, this is one very good case. No, let's have
Yes,
another one.
I agree. I agree.
Well, somewhere within ASEAN is Vietnam. I mean, and the history of Vietnam is very important to us because it involves a major part in anti-colonial struggles, and the most major figure in that anti-colonial struggles would be Ho Chi Minh. He doesn't look young anymore in this picture, but when he started his anti-colonial was this struggles, he was very young, you know. So he's also a good example for us in this case, and he persisted. Like the thing with many young people is they tend to be very ideal when they're young, and then as they get older, they gradually lose that idealism and kind of become more and more pragmatic, and sometimes even shift to being opportunistic. So Ho Chi Minh is one such case where there's perseverance, there's this fortitude of adhering to what he believes is right, and just kind of seeing it through till its realization. No? And meron pa ba? Do we have another? Do we have? Yes. And this great painting in along the romanticist style is by Juan Luna. It was painted at the age of 27. So he was very young when he did this, no? In fact, many of our national heroes were very young when they were part of the struggle against Spanish colonialism. Next. Yes. So Jose Rizal, no? He was, I think, 26 when he wrote the Noli Me Tangere novel, and then eventually found by El Filibusterismo. And again, talking about the arts, many of us failed to realize that Rizal became a hero not because he was a doctor. He became a hero because he was an artist. Now, he was a novelist. And it was his novel that really got him into trouble with the authorities. But that's the lesser significant thing that happened. What really happened was through his novels, the Filipino masses were awakened by to the excesses, the oppressiveness of the Spanish empires and the Spanish authorities. You know? So it's actually the art that made him become a hero. You know?
That's right. Oh, nga. He's more known. I think a lot of people know him more as a writer of Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo rather than being known as a
Mhm.
doctor. No, or
But
uh,
he keeps being referred to as Dr. Jose Rizal. So there's like a tendency. So what did he really do to, that and literature is art.
yes.
So mhm. Next one. I don't know if you know this guy. This is
No.
Leandro Alejandro. He was 27 when he was gunned down by the military elements. He was a staunch with this critique of the administration during his time,
Hmm.
and because of that, he became a major threat for the ruling class. So, mhm. And he was a major figure of youth empowerment and activism during his time. Mm.
I see. So the voice of the youth
Well,
during his time. Okay, so he's
yeah,
more of
Ve-
a nationalist political activist. Am I right, sir?
yeah, and one of the really smart guys around. No? So parang it was really hard to argue against him. So he was not very he was not just very articulate. He was also very sharp, and he always has a strong argument against those who kind of represent the opposing views.
I
Mm.
see. So he's like a threat to
Oh
some.
yeah, definitely. I mean, you wouldn't gun down someone who's not a threat to your interest, you know.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So do
So
we do we have another one?
meron pa ba? Let's just keep them having. Ayan, this is Emilio Jacinto, known as the brains of the Katipunan. And
Mhm.
again, I think he was not yet in his 20s when he died. No? So uh, he came up with the Cartilla of the Katipunan, which is like uh, a guidebook for the members of the Katipunan. Yeah.
Right. Sige, I'll hold up my
So,
question
meron pa
for
ba?
now. Sige, let's keep going first.
Sige, sige. Let's just keep them going. I don't know if we still have more. Okay. So, uh, let's go back to the idea of like how art and the youth can be part of that venture of being shapers of the future of society. So I guess in my case, I can only look back and talk about what we have been doing in the past. No? And this is citing one of the projects we did much earlier. I think this was in 2014 or 2015. I really have a hard time recalling the exact dates. But this was one of our projects we did inside the campus of UP Diliman, which happens to have a lot of informal settlers within the campus. And in the background, there's this guy who's doing a performance art with the young children inside that community, and that they're walking within like uh, there's rubbish all around them. No? So parang that place is also like a dump site,
Dump
and at the
site. Yeah.
same time, that's also where they live. No?
Hmm.
Yeah. So let's have the next one, please. So again, this is part of the. I think many of the images you've seen earlier are pretty much related to this. This is images showing you the past projects of athletics where we involve artists to be very much part of the people inside communities. So I think what they're doing here, I don't know. I mean, I think there's some kind of workshops that's going on right now. I mean, there. So mhm. Let's have the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
What are these, sir? Ano yung,
Ana,
what are these? I think they're bamboo.
mhm,
And
mhm.
can you
Yeah, this
explain
is a
for?
bamboo installation by Jun Yi.
Mhm.
He's a major Philippine artist, and he's considered as the pioneer, the main pioneer of installation art, and he was among our participants in the many events that we have organized. And again, this is part of that event that took place inside the campus of UP. So we had several art projects all over the campus during this time. Uh, Next one, please. And again, this is one of our performers as he was showing some dance moves, I guess, for the children of the community.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Who's
Next.
also part of Artletics, sir? Am I right? He's part
Yes.
of
No,
Artletics.
no. Actually, they are most of the people we get are invited participants. So this guy is a member of the Talaandig tribe from Mindanao, and
Mm.
they actually have like a cultural group there where they perform dances, where they also perform musical instruments, and indigenous musical instruments,
Okay.
and yeah, so they were brought over for this particular event.
Okay.
Mm,
Right.
yeah, next. Now, many of our projects take us to other parts of the country. So this was done in Pili Camarines Sur, and the artist who's doing the mural there is Archie Oclos. He is one of the 13 artist awardees, also the awardee for the Ateneo Art Awards. He's multi-awarded, and he shares pretty much our vision, and he participates in many of the activities or projects that we hold. So as you can see, this is a very big mural done
Yeah.
in within the premises of the market of the town Pili, and it's all about farmers. So part of our emphasis is really to have the arts really connect to the lives of the people in a locality. So just to give you an idea of how he started with the process, he did some interviews of the people around, and since many of the people there were farmers, he decided to come up with a way to, pay homage to the farmers. No? So next one.
Right. What
Yeah.
about this?
So again, this was in Cagayan. So this is in Alcala, a small town in Cagayan, and again, the artists have the opportunity to immerse themselves with the farmers there, and part of what they did was to come up with. They painted the what's this, waiting sheds in the community. There wasn't enough walls actually, so these were the only available walls that they could paint on. And along the way, the children and some members of the communities started to participate in the painting process. So it was a very uplifting experience, both for the locals as well as the artists. Let's have the next image, please. Yung mga next images, yeah. So this is the finished work. No?
Okay. The waiting
Next
sheds. Okay.
one, yeah, the waiting shed. And then one of the participating artists, his name is Chris Mora, and this is in front of the town hall of Alcala. And his works here, he had the locals wear the what do you call it, raincoat. Is there another word for raincoat? Yeah, and and what's written on them are the big corporations who are pretty much responsible for the environmental crisis that we're having at the moment. So and the experience was very educational for the locals who realized that they're actually big corporations driven by the desire for profit and
Mhm.
at the expense of our environment. You know,
That's right.
But, yeah.
It's all
So
about the
let's
money right
have
now.
the next.
For them, it's all
Yes,
about the
it's all
money.
about the
So,
money. It's all about profit. Yep. hmm
how about the
Next.
next one?
So yeah, and this we held what's this Paghilom Arts Festivals subsequently after we did one in UP, and we've been running it for 3 years. So these are some of the pictures in the activities during that event. No? So these are more of workshops for artists, and then eventually there was also a competitions for young artists. Uh, Next, uh, and then eventually something happened. The Taal volcano erupted, and then we decided that we have to do something about it because we live very close to it. You know,
Yeah.
and we participated in creating a community kitchen along with ARMK. And there were a lot of volunteers who came. So we were cooking food for the refugees, like for several days, and it was very tiring, but it was also a lot of fun at the same time. So next image. So this is where we bring the food to the victims of the Taal volcano eruption. So these were the people who had to leave their houses because it's not safe. Yeah. So next, Ayan. And then after that, we decided that what we were doing was not enough. So we decided to do some fundraising for the Taal victims. And so we asked for artists to help us raise funds by donating artworks for the event. And yeah,
Mhm.
we were very happy with the outcome. We were able to raise a significant amount of money. And we're still in the process of giving continued assistance to not just to the victims of the Taal volcano, but to other victims of some calamities. So the next one, next. Like the next image you see is Project Uliling, where we tried to assist the victims of fire in a community in Mandaluyong. There were several people who lost their houses and have to live in makeshift tents. And so it was a symbolic activity where we kind of asked artists to draw artworks from charcoal symbolizing the remains of their burnt houses, and then the artworks are exhibited online, and they also went on sale, and the money was used to buy some relief goods as well as fire extinguishers to be distributed to the fire victims. So I guess we're just trying to do a lot of things right now, and they're all integral to the general programs that we have in Artletics.
Right.
Mm.
So, what we have just seen, Sir Manny, na art doesn't only we're not only aiming to influence our culture, to shape our culture and values, but also your well, grabe yung reach ng art. Through art, we're also able to help others, and most especially yung recent event. This was also this year, di ba, sir? Yung Taal volcano eruption. Um,
Yes. A
and
lot of
and
things
with
happened this year.
yeah, a lot of things
uh,
happened, and still art
uh,
has an effect on it. Like may nagagawa pa rin yung art natin to reach out to the people
Mm-hmm.
of this nation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Sir, grabe, no? Again, before we move on, we would like to thank you for sharing those artworks, and at the same time the history, how art shaped our history, our
Yeah,
culture, our values. There's a question here, sir. Um, from Sir Ishmael Yanuaria. I hope I read this correctly. So the church has become powerful in the arena of shaping a state and has become powerful. Today, how can the church embrace a paradigm shift from powerful to a more relevant institution in social transformation through art? I think what he's trying to say is his next question is: should churches use art as a prophetic voice for social transformation?
of course. But it's a very tricky situation that the church is in right now. No, like a good example would be Pope Francis. He's very outspoken about the excesses of the big corporations, big capitalist, uh, you know, predators taking advantage of the people. But you get the idea that he's speaking alone, that his statements are his personal views about the issue, and it's not the official position of the Vatican.
All right.
So there are it's much more complicated than it looks. I mean, anyone, and it's good that he's saying this, and because he represents a very important position and a powerful one for that, and yet it also indicates how powerless he is in terms of actually declaring where the church stands on the issues, because
Right.
many elements within the same institution are also benefiting a lot from these big corporations. So it's really a very complex dilemma. But I think something can be uh, corrected, or in the area of theology, where theology needs to define its adversary more explicitly.
Right.
Because a theology has a tendency to use vague languages and just kind of confine its discourse among scholars, and therefore rendering however powerful or however radical those discourses are, rendering it pretty much ineffective. Um, and and again, I think the main weakness of theology is it's not connecting consciously enough with the arts, because as long as it's in written form and pretty much abstracted,
Hmm.
it's not going to connect in a substantial way to those who can really change the situation. We're talking about the masses of the people.
That's right.
So unless the ideas are expressed in concrete forms in terms of the arts, that's what you call liturgy. When ideas become expressed in the arts in a church context, no, that is what you call liturgy.
Liturgy.
But there is very little effort being done in that direction right now. So I think there's a crisis of complacency and contentment on the part of some of the scholars who don't really regard the necessity of communicating their ideas uh, to uh, to most people. You know?
Right. I think there's a phrase that came up to my mind right now. So a picture paints a thousand words. Is that
Yeah.
is
Mhm.
that a more powerful approach to convey our message. Let's say we're talking about the church. If the church wants to shape the society right now, or to help improve the society right now,
Yeah.
so it's better to, yeah, again, to connect it to art rather than just saying it just without walking through it. Is that right, sir?
Uh, when you're talking about the urgency of communicating an idea, you don't really want that picture to paint 1,000 words. You want to contain the understanding of a certain idea
Mm.
within the same frame. Otherwise, it would just kind of explode into many different directions. So whatever effect it's going to have will be diffused, you know.
Ah, yeah.
So you kind of want to direct the understanding of that idea within the direction you want it to go, so that it has the you know, if you want to change societies for the better, you don't want it to be too ambiguous.
Right. So it has
Yeah.
to be really
Hmm.
specific. Thank you, sir. That's a very wonderful
Hmm.
answer. Now, sir,
Hmm.
we know that, of course, art is still around us, and a lot of people may have, I don't know, misconception about art, or they say that this is art. Well, it's not completely art. I don't know, but uh, where in the current art industry, do you think there's something that should be improved or should be stopped or that should change? Something that you probably disagree with and you want this to be changed? Is there something that you think that
Yes, definitely, definitely, and among which is the tendency to reduce art as currency, because that way, like, unfortunately, I'm part of that. You know, like, people would ask for my name in a gallery. Do you have a Garibay in your collection? So they're not even looking at the work. They just ask if I have a work there, and they're willing to buy it not on the basis of what they see, but on the basis of the brand name. So and that has become a widespread practice right now. Many collectors buy on the basis of brand names, not on the basis of actually liking the works. So some
right?
of them would buy my work, and since they don't like to see it on their walls because it can be repulsive, they would just keep it in a storage, you know.
I see.
So and it's, I mean, you don't feel so happy about that because you want, you are communicating through your art, and if it's kept in a storage where no one can see it, then it's rendered ineffective, you know.
Right, right.
So mhm.
So you're not as an artist, no, you want, of course, you're to reach out to the people through that. And now kasi it's all about money, so nabili lang and then it's just kept there. Of course, I think
Mhm.
I would feel the same. Now, sir, here's another question. Now, we know that we're currently in a pandemic, and it's not just here in the Philippines but globally. But do you think, or in your opinion, can art help? This is a question from King Tangana. Can art help redeem the world?
Actually, it's not art that would help redeem the world. It has always been people, you know. Let me just clarify that, you know, we tend to regard art as if it were behaving by itself autonomously without without people. I mean, without the manipulation or the creation or the participation of people, art wouldn't mean anything. It's just, it's more of a medium. It's an instrument of expression, of ideas, of thoughts, of forms, of sensation, and all that. No, and nahulog. And really, it's really up to the people to decide what it's going to do. You know, like the one I cited a while back, art is instrumentalized by the big corporations in order to manipulate, control behavior, in order to protect their market, expand their market, and increase their profits. You know,
Yeah,
and I think there should be more people who would look into the uplifting power of art and deepening our grasp, our understanding of our humanity, so that we are able to have a deeper awareness of what life is, what our awareness, I mean, our existence is all about, and what we're here for. You know, I mean, that's why you call it the humanities, because
right.
it enriches your understanding of who we are, no, and the many dimensions of being human. And if it's not doing that anymore because it's being instrumentalized by those who would rather have us dumbed down and become uncritical consumers of harmful products, you
That's
know,
right.
then it can go either way. It can be useful, it can be harmful. So it's really humans, it's really us who decide where it should go.
That's right. So if now corporations are the ones who have money will take
Yeah,
control of art,
they're
that
very
I will use
powerful.
art. Yeah, that's a
Hmm.
problem.
Yes.
I think
Hmm.
yeah, I completely agree with you, sir. That we humans are the ones who could save it. But art, of course, could be a medium. According to Christ the Savior Parish Tagaytay, Philippines, who's watching with us right now, who's watching right now. According to Fyodor Dostoevsky, beauty will save the
Dostoevsky.
world. Yeah, the
Hmm.
Russian
Hmm.
writer, beauty will save the world.
Hmm.
But of course, it will be through us humans.
Hmm.
Now, sir, just like me, and any other viewers that we have right now, I may have, let's say, I may have some ideas that could possibly change the world. I want to help change the world. However, I'm not an artist. I don't know how to draw. I don't know how to paint. Do you think, in your opinion, there's a way for me to hone, even though I'm not really born as an artist? Can I learn how to be an artist and start drawing now, and probably send my message through art? Is that possible?
Yes, of course. Yeah, yeah. I mean, everything is possible in this world. Anyway,
Yes, that's right.
you have to. Maybe it's helpful for those who are thinking that way to know that many artists actually started late.
Mhm.
Vincent van Gogh actually started late in his life. Not so late. He was probably like in his late 20s, somewhere there, when he realized that all that he wants to be is to be an artist. Or even one of our local artists who died not too long ago, Onib Olmedo. He started late in his life to become an artist. Uh, a famous American artist known by the name Grandma Moses. And the reason you call her Grandma Moses because she started late again in her art career. So it's never too late. I think the key thing here is it's not the skills or the talent itself. What makes an artist is the passion. No?
Right.
Once you have the passion, it's something that will sustain you. It's it's an internal drive that motivates you to do art, regardless whether it is being encouraged, it is being reinforced by the market. Someone buys you, or if nobody buys your work, it doesn't matter because it's an internal motivation.
That's
No?
right.
It's something that's coming from within, and it's the one that's really pushing you to do that creative act. No?
That's really
So,
a great input, sir. No, kasi as an well, I do instructional designing, so I'm an instructional designer in my
oh,
in our
yeah. Hmm.
company. So it gives me that well, it inspired me with your answer. Na okay, so there's a big difference between you're doing your, let's say you're designing out of, because it's your job, and you're
Hmm.
designing, you're creating art because it's your passion. So
Yes.
yun na siguro, sir, yung nagiging I think um, the line between arts now na nakita mo dito kasi you're doing this because you just want to earn money.
Mm-hmm.
But so
Mm-hmm.
how are we going to I don't know, any advice to our current artists, most especially the youth, na to not lose that passion in exchange of money?
I think it has to start with belief. You have to believe in something in yourself in order to really have that passion.
Right.
Many artists, young or even past artists, I have observed, especially like many of them have very good uh, command of their craft. No, but many of them also don't have that passion. There's this lack
Mm,
of belief in what they do and what it can accomplish, and because of that, many of them would resort to striving to come up with a formula that can sell, and when they find it, they stick to it and just keep repeating it. You
yeah.
know, so fortunately for some of them, that works. But in many cases, because there's a great deal of detachment from their art and from them, because the motivation is more coming from outside, because of like they want to sell. They're always thinking of, I have to do it this way because this style sells better than this one.
Yeah.
Even though the other style is more authentic, it's one that is that reflects the real person in them. They would kind of gravitate to a form that they feel would have a higher possibility of selling.
Yes, that's right.
So I think that's why it's very important to really be connected to your passion on the basis of your belief, because that's the only thing that can sustain itself, because it's belief driven passion, no? is is something that generates, um, it is something that is internally generated, and it's something that can sustain the act of doing art, regardless whether it's you're able to get something from it, whether you're selling or not. No?
Right. Thank you, sir. No, so
So,
that's very powerful.
mhm,
You said, yung sabi niyo na belief is driving your
mhm,
passion. So you have to
mhm.
go back to that when most especially if you're an artist and you think you're lost na hindi ko na alam, probably because nag-focus na ako sa pag-YouTube, di ba? I earn
Oh,
money because of vlogging and so on, and so I
yeah.
lose that side of me which is my passion to art. So yeah, belief, go
Mhm,
back to that root. Now, sir, ito, because I can sense talking about passion, you are very passionate at what you do, of course, as an artist and with your
mhm.
advocacies and with what you do and the group that you're leading right now. Um, and earlier, when during
Mm.
the start of our webinar today, we have shown a video about Artletics. Can you walk us through further what Athletics is all about, the programs it does, and how can the youth be part of that program?
Yeah, well, I think that it has been substantially covered during the introduction, but again, just to say a little bit more about it. Yeah, we have several programs, foremost of which is our Artist in Residence program, where we have two strands. We have art residencies, and we also offer what's this apprenticeship program. The apprenticeship program is a shorter one, and it's where we determine. It's also where we can also kind of determine whether an apprentice can be elevated to the art residency program.
Mhm.
The art residency program is a full scholarship. We provide everything: food, accommodation, and the materials.
Wow.
And the apprenticeship is a little bit more tricky. Sometimes we kind of decide whether we can also provide materials, but it's basically just food and accommodation, and the artists would find a way to provide the materials themselves. And this one runs for just 1 month. The residency runs for 3 months. And I think people who would come here would find this place very conducive. As you can see, like the wind is blowing behind me. It's a very idyllic place.
Yes, sir.
Uh, yeah, and very conducive to any creative activity. And we also have a very healthy, culture inside. We emphasize on discipline, on creative teammanship. So we don't tolerate smoking or drinking, and then people go to bed early, get up early. We have other exercise. We have exercises, physical exercises. We have organic gardening. We have games. A lot of things to sustain a happy, healthy atmosphere within the with it. It's not such a big place, but it's more than enough, actually, I would say, for what the projects require. No.
Grabe, sir, no? I think it's a very appropriate to the current situation, a pandemic, lockdown everywhere,
Mhm. Yes,
ECMGs.
yes.
And
Hmm.
if you, a lot of us are stuck inside our home, and meron
Hmm.
palang ganito where we could na you could be productive and at the same time healthy, kasi yung mga
Hmm.
activities nyo, there's exercises,
Yeah,
and yung lifestyle, actually, the
right.
no smoking, no drinking, and you sleep early. No, sir, I'm really curious about that, and I know the viewers that we have right now are also curious about this program,
Hmm.
Artletics program. Can anyone walk in, like, inquire or contact you? Because I'm interested. Let's say, can I just walk in to where this place is, to your place, and join the
Yes, of course.
apprenticeship?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can, like, uh, the place is in Alfonso, Cavite. It's the road that goes down to Maragondon. So it's like, I think, the second to the last town before you reach Maragondon. Yeah, I mean, everyone is welcome to come and visit and inquire more, ask more about the program, and yeah. Mhm.
Right. So, ito, ladies and gentlemen, to our viewers, again, if you think you have the passion, it doesn't have to be na kailangan artist ka na, or magaling ka mag-drawing, magaling ka mag-paint, or musician ka. But you think you have the passion to send your message. Am I right, sir? To send your message, then you are
Mhm.
welcome to visit Artletics,
Mhm.
and you can see
Mhm.
at the banner below how you could contact them. You have their Athletics Facebook account, facebook.com/Artletics, and their IG is at artletics.ph. Also, sir, we have the Artugon Facebook page, which is
Uh-huh.
facebook.com/Artugon 2020. Their IG is
Mhm.
Artugon 2020. And
Mhm.
Linangan Art Residency Facebook page, which is www.facebook.com/Linangan Art
Mhm.
Residency.ph. And their IG is at Linangan. So,
Yeah.
and again, we would like to thank you, sir, for all the things that you have shared today. From grabe, ang dami, ako personally, dami ko
Yeah.
natutunan na, okay, so may kinalaman pala talaga si art sa culture natin, sa history natin, how it shaped the society.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
now there's a way for us to continue that through
Yes.
Artletics
Mhm.
and through you, sir. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. But before we end today, any advice to our viewers today, that or final words that you want to say to our viewers this morning?
Well, one of the things I may have forgotten to say earlier was that like art is actually also the means by which one can be deeply in tune with oneself. Now you have a deeper understanding of who you are through its practice, and that's why it's one of the things that we are encouraging in our programs here. So, the programs here does not just provide spaces for artists. There's a great deal of emphasis on mentorship that enables one to really be aware of oneself, of who you are. So it's not an easy thing to explain, but it's something that one experiences as one practices their craft. No. So and I'm very grateful for this opportunity to give this talk with you, and I'm happy to have made some connection and maybe affect some ways of thinking you know through this opportunity. Maraming salamat. Mhm.
No, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate your time spending with us and
Mhm.
sharing your passion to us. Grabe, sir. No, you just opened our eyes and our minds to a bigger possibility of
Mhm.
how we could express
Mhm.
ourselves further. So, to those of you, to our viewers who are still with us, and you wanna know more about Artletics and Linangan uh, Art Residency, you can visit their Facebook pages and their IG accounts. And once again, sir, Sir Manny, thank you very much for your time.
Mhm.
We really
Mhm.
appreciate our time.
Mhm.
Hopefully, we could have you again here at ESME to talk
Yeah,
more about
yeah,
your
yeah,
passion. So,
yeah.
sobrang kulang
Sure,
tong isang
sure.
oras mahigit
Mhm.
eh. Thank you very much, sir.
And you're also welcome to have a visit here. I mean,
We'd love to.
we also have facilities for overnight stay. If you like to stay longer.
We'd love to, sir, to talk more about these. I want to learn more
Yeah,
from you,
sure,
sir.
sure.
Thank you,
Sige,
sir, for the
sige.
invitation. Thank you, sir.
Okay,
See you soon. And
okay. Thank you.
thank you very much,
Mhm.
sir. So please, I think for now we'll just put you on the backstage. And to our viewers, thank you very much for sticking around. For I think we learned a lot from, and I not really think, but I believe we learned a lot from Sir Manny. And you may claim actually at the end of this seminar, or sorry, webinar, you can claim your digital certificate by going to our website www.esme.ph or esme.ph. You can find the link at the comment section of this webinar. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your time, everyone. And again, uh, you can see on the banner here regarding the pages for the Facebook pages of Artletics, of Artugon, and Linangan Art Residency, and their IG account. So please, again, feel free to message them, and please don't forget to like and follow ESME Philippines on Facebook so that you can stay updated on or you'll be informed on our next webinars. And please watch out, we have some master classes coming up. I believe that will be the masterclass would come next month in November. So please watch out for that. We'll have an announcement. We have a very special speaker, or actually, who would lead that master class. All right. So once again, this webinar, we would like to thank our partners. First, ESME Philippines for organizing this webinar, and also we would like to thank ASEAN Youth Organization as one of our partners, and Rotary Club of Alabang Madrigal Business Park. Thank you very much. And of course, Sir Manny for sharing his expertise and his passion. So before we come to an end to this webinar, I'd like to invite everyone, if you want to learn more, increase your knowledge and skills, again, just visit www.esme.ph, and we have free and masterclass courses where you can enroll to whatever course that may be relevant to you. So a course that you are passionate about, talking about passion, right? So once again, my name is Kristoff, and for hosting, because it's been a pleasure to be your host. And you can follow my page, event hosting by Kristoff Contreras, or just look for www.facebook.com/the groovy host. So it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you again in our next webinars, and hopefully in one of our master classes. Everyone, thank you very much for joining us here at SB Philippines, and we'll see you again in the next webinar. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Bye.